Just sat down for an hour with Erika Kirk and we talked about everything. We talked about what was going through her head when she stood on that stage, forgave her husband's alleged murderer. We talked about all of the conspiracies surrounding his assassination. And of course, we talked about grief, political violence, and so much more. Watch this Saturday night on CBS.
Erika Kirk just got a full 1-hour town hall special on CBS, and everyone online is asking the same thing. Why? The clips are spreading fast, but not for good reasons. Many viewers think the network made her look strange and uncomfortable, almost unsettling at times. The situation gets even messier when you realize who's running the show now. Bari Weiss, the new editor-in-chief at CBS, has been facing major backlash for the network's recent direction. Critics are saying CBS has shifted tone under her leadership, and viewers are noticing the difference. That's how this 1-hour Erika Kirk town hall even happened in the first place. And the announcement itself, it raised a few eyebrows. Weiss proudly said she sat down with Erika for a full hour, but people online were quick to point out that Erika has already been doing interviews everywhere. She's appeared on multiple outlets, repeating many of the same stories, so audiences are confused about what made this sit-down so special. Still, what's fascinating is how the network framed it like a massive scoop. Weiss seemed thrilled to present it, even though the idea of interviewing someone who's been everywhere lately didn't exactly strike viewers as groundbreaking. Some called it awkward, others said it felt like CBS was trying too hard to spark buzz. And if you've ever doubted yourself or felt out of place in your job, this might sound familiar, right? Because as many are pointing out, Bari Weiss seems completely in over her head. It's giving major imposter syndrome vibes. Let's be real. If Bari Weiss can land one of the biggest editorial jobs in the country without any real experience for it, then maybe that's your sign to go after what you want too. Ask for that raise, chase that dream role, or even make that bold move.
It's Erika between forgiving someone in a religious and spiritual sense, but also wanting justice for them here on earth.
No, of course. We serve a just God, and I rest easy in knowing that. He's sovereign, but he's just. And so let the Lord handle that.
Because clearly confidence can take you places. Weiss has been doing her walk and talk act, trying to look like a seasoned reporter, and she's doing it with zero hesitation. If she can pull that off, anyone can. Now, moving on, and yes, I remember when people got upset with me a few months back when all this first started. Back then, I said, go easy on Erika Kirk, but my view has shifted big time. She's turned this whole thing into what people are calling a full-blown media tour. She's on every platform, every podcast, every TV show, often repeating the same emotional stories again and again. At first, many felt sympathy, but now it's starting to look more like performance than healing. Instead of taking time to step back and heal privately with her loved ones, she's chosen to stay in the spotlight, and it's raising questions. Some viewers think it's less about processing pain and more about maintaining attention and control. And honestly, it's beginning to feel that way. What makes it more complicated is the group standing behind her. Turning Point USA has long been accused of pushing certain political agendas onto young audiences. The organization's critics say it's not about balanced discussion, but about shaping youth perspectives in a very one-sided direction. And while Erika continues to publicly defend them, it leaves many wondering, why align yourself with that kind of platform during such a sensitive moment? No one doubts that what her family went through was truly tragic, but turning it into a constant media appearance feels unsettling to many watching it unfold. That still doesn't give anyone the right to try and push their own beliefs onto children through political messaging.
Is there a difference, Erika, between forgiving someone in a religious and spiritual sense, but also wanting justice for them here on earth?
No, of course. But we serve a just God. And I rest easy in knowing that. He's sovereign, but he's just. And so
And that's where a lot of people say things have gone too far. During the town hall, Erika Kirk was asked one of the hardest questions imaginable, how she could possibly forgive the person responsible for her husband's passing, and the moment left viewers uneasy. Something about her tone and expression just didn't sit right with many watching. It felt strange, almost rehearsed. Things got even more intense when Candace Owens entered the picture. She's been throwing out a wave of theories about Erika lately, and while most sound extreme, one accusation has people talking. Candace claimed Erika's public appearances might not just be about healing, but about profit, suggesting the emotional interviews have turned into a money-making machine. It's a harsh claim, but the idea has definitely spread online. Comments have flooded social media, with viewers pointing out how Erika's emotional moments seem to draw major attention, and yes, more financial support. Some even say she's gained book deals and media opportunities from it. That's why many are wondering if she's keeping herself on camera for deeper reasons than she admits. Her message to Candace was fiery, but the reactions were mixed. One viewer said, she forgave the shooter in minutes, but can't extend that same grace to Candace. Another added that Erika's body language seemed off, calling her reactions forced and her anger performative. It's a rough take, but it shows how divided the audience has become. And just when things couldn't get more uncomfortable, the host brought up Charlie Kirk's most controversial past statements. The tension in the room was impossible to miss, and Erika's reaction left even more questions hanging in the air. When the discussion turned to Charlie Kirk's past statements, the tone shifted instantly. The air in the room thickened, and even Erika's expression changed. Gone was the composed smile.
Okay? At one time, a friend of Charlie's, at one time, an employee of Turning Point. She has been one of the main peddlers of these conspiracies, and she is making a huge amount of money on it. She is building her business off of these lies. What do you want to say to her and the other people that are putting these lies out into the world right now?
Replaced by a tight jaw and darting eyes, the interviewer didn't hold back, bringing up clips where Charlie had made bold and divisive remarks that had stirred up plenty of controversy during his career. You could feel the tension crawl across the stage as the audience waited for her response. Erika took a deep breath and leaned forward, saying she wouldn't apologize for her husband's words. She framed it as loyalty, but to many watching, it sounded more like deflection. Instead of addressing the criticism head-on, she turned the question around, talking about how Charlie was misunderstood, how his words were taken out of context, and how the media had twisted everything he stood for. It was a familiar defense, one she's used before, but this time it felt different. It felt rehearsed, polished, like something she'd practiced in front of a mirror before walking on set. And that's what people online immediately noticed. Viewers flooded comment sections saying her tone seemed less like grief and more like a PR strategy. One viral post even said, "It's like she's running a campaign, not mourning her husband." That comment alone sparked thousands of likes and retweets, setting off a wildfire of debates. Some defended her, saying she's allowed to protect her husband's legacy however she chooses. Others saw it as another sign that the entire town hall wasn't about closure, it was about controlling the narrative. It didn't help that the show included footage of Erika laughing between segments, chatting casually with producers, and fixing her makeup as if nothing heavy had just been discussed. While that might seem normal behind the scenes, the editing made it look cold.
Stop. That's it. That's all I have to say. Stop.
Almost detached. Many felt it stripped away the sincerity that the interview was supposed to have. Viewers wanted raw emotion, but what they got instead felt like television theater. Critics pointed out that CBS, under its new editorial leadership, seemed to be leaning into sensationalism, framing the town hall less as journalism and more as spectacle. One commentator online wrote that it felt like an emotional circus where Erika's tears and tension were used as ratings bait. And that's the heartbreaking part, when someone's personal tragedy starts to feel like a production. You could see it in the reaction clips that circulated afterward. Viewers watching with expressions of disbelief, shaking their heads at how polished and staged everything looked. Meanwhile, social media debates exploded between those who believed Erika was genuinely struggling and those who saw manipulation. Some of her supporters said this was simply her way of staying strong, using media appearances to keep her husband's message alive. Others weren't buying it, arguing that what was meant to be a moment of remembrance had turned into a branding opportunity. Even hashtags started trending, with one side showing compassion and the other expressing doubt. What makes it even more complicated is how Erika's image has shifted over time. When the tragedy first happened, there was widespread sympathy, endless posts offering support, flowers, and donations. But over time, the tone online changed. Each new appearance, each emotional segment, each dramatic pause chipped away at the authenticity people once felt. It wasn't about loss anymore, it was about performance.
That has happened over the 3 months since Charlie was murdered is that people have gone through the thousands, maybe tens of thousands of hours of words he produced. He said more in 31 years than most people will say in a lifetime. Yes. And I want to read a few that have captured the most attention, especially on the political left, okay?
Yeah.
Some gun deaths were, quote, unfortunately worth it to preserve the Second Amendment, he said. Acknowledging that he wishes he didn't feel this way, he said, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. He said the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was a mistake.
It's a painful transition to watch, seeing public empathy turn into public suspicion. Then came the part of the town hall that really made headlines, when Erika was asked about her husband's connections to certain political figures and movements that had caused division in recent years. Instead of distancing herself or offering reflection, she doubled down. She said Charlie was proud of his convictions and that she planned to carry his torch forward. For many, that was the moment everything clicked. This wasn't about healing, it was about taking his place. The camera zoomed in as she spoke, her voice trembling slightly, but not from tears, from intensity. She looked straight into the lens like she was delivering a campaign speech rather than answering a personal question. It was gripping television, but unsettling for viewers who expected vulnerability, not ambition. And when the host followed up, asking if she planned to take on a bigger role within Turning Point, Erika hesitated for just a split second before saying, "I'm open to wherever God leads me." That one line set off endless speculation online. Was she hinting at something? Was this town hall not just an interview, but a launch pad? By the end of the broadcast, the internet was ablaze with theories. Some thought CBS was grooming Erika to become a new conservative media face. Others believed she was using the platform to stay relevant while public sympathy was still strong. Either way, the conversation had shifted entirely away from grief and into strategy. People weren't asking how she was healing, they were asking what her next move would be. Even body language experts started analyzing her clips frame by frame. Videos popped up breaking down her micro expressions, her gestures, her breathing. They claimed to spot signs of calculation.
That all of those quotes come from longer conversations that he had on his show.
Correct.
But he did say those things. And Charlie is being memorialized by many people as a person who promoted civil discourse, as a person who said, come to the front of the line, let's have a civil conversation. How do you square that with the statements I just read?
I would love for everyone to be able to watch the full and entire clip.
Not sorrow. Whether true or not, those videos racked up millions of views, turning Erika from a grieving widow into a viral talking point. And in today's media landscape, that's its own kind of fame, one that can be as powerful as it is damaging. The strangest part of all this is how detached it's become from reality. Instead of a story about loss and reflection, it's become entertainment. The very thing Erika claims to despise about how media treats tragedy, but she's also participating in it, knowingly or not. It's like watching someone trapped in the cycle of exposure. The more she's criticized for being everywhere, the more she appears everywhere again to defend herself. And here's the question everyone's asking now, where does it end? When every tear becomes content, when every confession becomes a clip, how do you step back from that? For Erika, it might already be too late. The spotlight she once seemed desperate to control might now be controlling her. As the credits rolled on that town hall, viewers were left more confused than ever. Not about the facts, but about the person sitting in that chair. Was she the heartbroken widow, the determined spokesperson, or the savvy strategist playing the game better than anyone expected? Maybe she's all three, but one thing is clear. That hour on CBS changed everything. In the days after that CBS town hall aired, the internet didn't calm down. It exploded. Clips from the interview spread across TikTok, YouTube, and X within hours, and people couldn't stop talking about how staged it all felt. Viewers began dissecting every second, from Erika's body language to the carefully chosen lighting and even the music playing softly in the background. It was as if the whole thing was designed not to tell a story, but to sell one. Commentators across multiple platforms started calling it the performance of the year.
Charlie didn't care what skin color you were. He didn't care what religion you were. He loved excellence. He loved knowing that people, his favorite word was earn. He loved knowing that people worked hard to earn what they got. He worked so hard to build Turning Point USA. The first statement you meant about guns and shooting, I have no idea the context of that, and I have no idea there's a lot more.
Some even compared it to a reality show audition rather than a genuine interview. What made it even stranger was how CBS doubled down, releasing exclusive behind-the-scenes footage the next day. Clips of Erika greeting producers, redoing takes, and joking with the crew between emotional segments. Instead of humanizing her, it made the whole thing look even more produced. The reaction was split right down the middle. Supporters said, "She's just trying to survive in the only way she knows how," while critics claimed, She's capitalizing on tragedy for attention. Both sides went to war online, and Erika, instead of stepping back, leaned into the storm. She began reposting clips from the town hall on her own social pages, adding captions about truth, faith, and resilience. But to many, it came off as self-promotion disguised as healing. Then something wild happened. CBS released teaser clips for a follow-up special. That's right, not even a week had passed and they were already advertising another Erika Kirk segment. The tagline read, "Her journey continues." It featured slow-motion footage of her walking through a sunlit field, voiceover saying, "This is just the beginning." That trailer was like gasoline on the fire. Viewers flooded the comments, accusing CBS of exploiting grief for ratings and Erika of willingly playing along. Even some insiders from the network anonymously told blogs that the production was uncomfortably scripted. One producer allegedly claimed that multiple takes were filmed for Erika's emotional moments and that she was given cue words before certain scenes to ensure the reactions looked powerful. If true, it's no wonder people called it manufactured drama. By midweek, Erika's name was trending again, this time alongside the phrase staged sympathy. People started pulling old clips of her earlier interviews to compare her answers, noticing she repeated identical sentences, word for word. Some said she was reciting lines, not speaking from the heart. Others said maybe that was just her way of staying composed.
My husband is not to be deteriorated to 2 sentences. He's not. He is a thought leader, and he was brilliant of a man. So that's fine if you want to take words out of his mouth or out of context without the whole.
But either way, it added to the growing narrative that nothing she said was truly spontaneous anymore. Adding fuel to all this was her ongoing alliance with Turning Point. Instead of distancing herself, she appeared at one of their recent events, smiling and shaking hands with members while cameras rolled. It was a bold move, and one that critics saw as proof she was choosing influence over privacy. That event, titled Faith, Family, and Freedom, quickly went viral after someone uploaded clips of her giving a passionate speech about continuing Charlie's mission. In the speech, Erika said she believed it was her calling to carry on what her husband started, and that she wouldn't be silenced. Those words struck a chord, but not necessarily in the way she expected. Many viewers felt like she'd crossed a line, turning her family's loss into a rallying cry for a movement that's been criticized for being divisive. It was as if she was blending personal tragedy with politics, and that mix made people uncomfortable. Her critics also pointed out how quickly her image was evolving. She went from grieving widow to outspoken figure in just a few short months. Her wardrobe, tone, and demeanor all seemed to shift. The quiet, emotional woman from her first interviews now spoke with the precision and polish of someone trained for media appearances. The change was dramatic and noticeable. Some even said it felt like watching a rebrand happen in real time. Meanwhile, CBS released an online article praising Erika's strength and perseverance, but the public wasn't buying it. Comments were filled with sarcasm and doubt. Strength or strategy, one person wrote. Another said, "She's not surviving, she's campaigning." And whether that's fair or not, it reflects the damage that comes from overexposure. When someone's every move becomes public, people start questioning what's real and what's not. Then came the bombshell that really shook things up. Reports surfaced that Erika had quietly signed with a high-profile talent agency just weeks before the CBS special aired.
This United story and the DEI story hits so hard because we've all been in the back of a plane when the turbulence hits or when you're flying through a storm and you're like, I'm so glad I saw the guy with the right stuff and the square jaw get into the cockpit before we took off. And I feel better now thinking about that.
No, I mean, like, you want to go thought crime? Like, I'm sorry. If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
Well, that's the you wouldn't have done that. You wouldn't have. You wouldn't have done that before.
That's not an immediate.
No, you wouldn't have done that before.
That's not who I am. That's not what I believe.
It is the reality the left has created.
The agency represents influencers, media personalities, and political commentators. That discovery sent social media into a frenzy. People began connecting dots, suggesting that the town hall wasn't just a feature, it was part of a rollout. It suddenly made sense to many viewers why the production felt so polished. From lighting to sound design, from rehearsed lines to emotional cues, it all pointed to professional media handling. And once that story broke, public opinion tilted sharply. Sympathy turned to skepticism, and even some of her early supporters began to question her motives. Yet through it all, Erika stayed silent, at least publicly. She didn't address the backlash directly, didn't respond to the agency rumors, and didn't apologize for the follow-up special. Instead, she posted a simple message on her page that read, "When God closes one chapter, he opens another." That line got tens of thousands of likes, but also reignited the debate. Was she being spiritual or strategic? As more people dug into her connections, others noticed something else: her growing media team. What used to be her solo appearances were now coordinated efforts. With stylists, camera crews, and even security details, it was clear that Erika wasn't stepping away from the spotlight anytime soon. If anything, she was stepping deeper into it. But here's the real twist. Despite all the backlash, the ratings for her town hall were some of the highest CBS had seen all season. The controversy drew viewers by the millions. That means, like it or not, the formula worked. The tears, the tension, the carefully crafted vulnerability, it all brought attention. And in television, attention is everything. Behind the scenes, insiders hinted that CBS executives were thrilled with the outcome. Plans for additional segments featuring Erika were already underway, possibly even a limited docu-series. That idea alone made critics furious, arguing that the network was turning grief into a franchise. But from a business standpoint, the network had hit gold. Now people are left wondering what comes next. Will Erika continue this public journey? Will she embrace the role of a media figure full-time? Or will she eventually realize that constant exposure might do more harm than good? Because once you build your brand around pain, it becomes hard to separate healing from headlines. The truth is, what started as a heartfelt story has turned into something much bigger, a spectacle blending tragedy, ambition, and public image. And whether viewers love her or loathe her, Erika Kirk has become a symbol of how modern media blurs the line between reality and performance. That moment in the interview hit hard, and not in the way Erika probably hoped. When she was asked about a quote connected to her husband, she froze. She said she had no idea where it came from, but everyone watching knew exactly what it was. It was one of Charlie Kirk's most controversial lines, a statement that caused outrage long before this town hall ever aired. How could she not know? That's what left so many viewers stunned. When she tried to explain, she insisted the comment was taken out of context. But then the full clip resurfaced online, and it didn't help her case. In fact, many said it made things worse. Comment sections filled with people calling her out, saying she looked rehearsed and overly polished. Others said she seemed completely unprepared, like she didn't expect to be challenged. Either way, the moment exposed how fragile her media strategy really was. The clip itself was hard to listen to. Charlie making remarks that tied race to ability, something people had condemned for years. When it played, the audience went silent. Erika sat still, barely blinking, clearly uncomfortable. When asked directly if she agreed with that line of thinking, she sidestepped the question, saying, "That's not who he was deep down." But that answer only added to the backlash. Many felt she was trying to rewrite the truth instead of facing it. Across social media, people debated her reaction. Some felt she was just a woman protecting her husband's memory, while others said she was deliberately ignoring the harm his words caused. The truth probably lies somewhere in between. Grief mixed with denial, and loyalty tangled with image. But what's clear is that her constant need to defend him is starting to backfire. The more she talks, the more people question her motives. Charlie Kirk was a complicated figure. He thrived on controversy and built his platform on division. No one's saying he deserved what happened, but that doesn't make him a hero either. His words carried weight, and not the good kind. Erika's struggle to see that is what keeps pulling her deeper into public scrutiny, because the world isn't asking her to attack him, they're asking her to be honest. And maybe that's what's missing most: authenticity. Every interview feels scripted, every answer feels tested, and every tear feels like part of a media plan. People are tired of watching grief turned into content. They don't want another special or another town hall. They want truth, even if it's messy. In the end, Erika could still change how this story ends. If she took a step back, admitted the flaws, and stopped trying to control the narrative, people might start to believe her again. But right now, she's holding on too tight to the spotlight, to the story, and to an image that keeps slipping away. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, share your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you on the next one.